I didn't even know that they were profitable. Um, but I guess it makes sense though, because for them to be able to continue to build new rockets and take on new projects, I guess they would have to be profitable for that.
Well, it says that they generated in 2024 14 billion in revenue. Does revenue include? Uh, is that just your gross?
I think so because you have revenue and then you have net income. So
So we don't know what their costs were in there.
well, uh, this might looks like operating. Well, I mean this is Tesla, not SpaceX, but I can't look at SpaceX like this because they're not public.
Right.
But again, going back to using Tesla as an example, their operating expense for 2024 was 9.79 billion and their revenue was 97.69 billion. And then down below that you have net income which was 7.09 billion for a net profit margin of 7.26. So companies like to see higher and higher revenue growth, but as you can see by that net income number, um, I guess your take home is usually not anywhere near as large as your gross, um, and that's the same for us regular citizens most of the time too, um, because of the IRS and bills, and I mean companies have some of the same troubles that we do, just on a larger scale. You know, as income rises, typically so do expenses. But you want to reduce that as much as possible. But sometimes it's easier said than done. Um, so let's see. Um, I know we've talked about tariffs plenty. It, the market, the market obviously got some good news on tariffs today. I want to say maybe Trump backed down on some of his stance towards the European Union. I want to say is the reason why the market went up today.
Trump pushed the start back to July per their request until they could get something worked out. And I understand that was what the surge was from.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds right. So hopefully that situation will continue to get better over time. But we'll just have to see as we go. Um, we talked about tax rates of different entities. Um, and like I said, I've seen in the news here recently where Trump is getting increasingly upset with Putin for not trying to broker a deal with Ukraine. So hopefully we'll see some positive stuff on that.
Even though it's reliably reported that they had a failed assassination attempt on him the other day.
Again on Trump
Wow. What?
or on
On,
Putin?
on Putin,
Oh.
Huh.
directly from Ukraine. So I suppose that's probably part of his reluctance.
Wow. I didn't. I'm gonna have to look into that more. I didn't realize that somebody tried to. I'm
Mm.
sure somebody's
Yeah.
always trying to assassinate him, probably. Um, and I laugh because I try not to be biased, but I mean, who knows how many people the man has killed? So like, to me, it would be crazy to not expect people to come after you if you're doing that amount of violence on other people.
Yep.
Um, but anyway, uh, and as a matter of fact, I want to say in some countries he's automatically designated as a war criminal. So I don't know how often or how he manages to travel outside of his own country now because, yeah, I would think that would be very dangerous for him.
Mm-hmm.
No.
It's reported by, well, there's several publications reporting, but this one is from the Times of India that said a Ukrainian drone nearly hit Putin's helicopter during his visit to Russia's Kursk region. Russia claims that 1,170 drones were intercepted in a 3 day blitz targeting the president's path.
Mm.
Ooh. Yeah, see, drones are scary because, and really and truly, if anything did get in, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a drone because I would think you can only account for so many. I mean, if somebody, let's say somebody had a swarm of 15,000, 20,000 drones, what can you do about that?
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
Yeah.
with a helicopter, all you've got to do is have something strong enough to damage the rotor, and you're coming down. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. And there's if somebody has enough drones, there's no way to be
right?
able to account for all of them. So,
And they're not risking human life. All they're out was the money for whatever the drones cost.
it's I feel like those things have taken guerrilla warfare to a whole new level.
No doubt.
Um, and I guess that's a good thing for
Which is probably one of the reasons that Trump has in works for us to develop our own Iron Dome.
yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that's part of the reason that program's getting more they're getting more vocal about that is probably because of drones too. And of course, uh you know, some nations are not happy about that.
That's
I know,
right.
I know that China pretty much immediately complained.
Yes,
once
how
they saw
dare you
it.
make it harder on us?
Yeah. How dare you not want us in your airspace? How are we supposed to send spy planes now? But yeah, I mean,
Please don't shoot down our balloons.
yeah, I would like to. I mean, my understanding is Israel uses something like that, right? Now,
Iron Dome,
granted,
yeah, right. And it's been very, very effective. And a lot of the technology that they use came from us.
yeah, and now, I mean, to be fair, they have a much smaller landmass than we do, so it'll probably be a lot more tricky for us. But it seems to me like something that is a valid concern and something that we probably do need to develop. But hopefully, it won't be terribly expensive.
Well, just like I mean, you think about it, and they have been much more effective than this. But say we could put up some kind of shield that would stop even half of what was coming through. That would be worth it alone, even if only half, if half got through.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean, and I don't want to sound like I'm whining or complaining here, but honestly, I was hoping that we had something like that already in existence. So
Yeah,
it kinda-
unbeknownst to us. Yes.
yeah, it kind of disappoints me that this is just now being talked about. Honestly,
Right.
I would have expected this to already be a thing, but I'm glad they're at least talking about it now.
Now it never got put into place, but Reagan had his own called Star Wars is what he called it. But it was the same type technology that he wanted to implement, and of course that was back in the early '80s.
Yeah, I have heard of that before, or I've heard that said before. That
It just never got through our House and Senate, if you can believe that, for cost reasons.
yeah, yeah, I would imagine it was always going to be expensive, and back then it was probably even more expensive because we're a little more technologically advanced now than we were then. But real quick before we get close to wrap up here, another just random piece of news that I wanted to throw out there was I saw where the state of Florida today is moving forward with some House bill. I want to say it was 999, where they are going to accept gold and silver as legal tender in the state of Florida. So the reason I bring that up is I hope to see that take traction. Ryan, are you joking?
No, sir.
You're not?
No.
Oh boy. Wait, can you tell if it's recording right now?
It's recording. It's just only 8 minutes long.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. I can't tell if the other one recorded or not.
Can you pause it real quick?